Hi, and welcome to Hams Radio. I am Hams. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, just wanted to say thank you for your support. If you are new to my channel is all about finding a life after trauma. I will be showing the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to my own healing journey in hopes that it will help you in yours. If that sounds like something that would add some positivity to your life, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below, hit the bell so you don't miss out on what I'm doing over here. Today, I just kind of wanted to go over complex PTSD and specifically an emotional flashback, which is one of the most identifiable characteristics of complex PTSD. And I'm going to put a label here, not a label, but yeah. Trigger warning, I will be speaking about suicidal thoughts. I will be speaking about suicide ideation, and some of it will get kind of graphic for some. So I would imagine if you are particularly triggered by any of that kind of talk, this isn't quite the video for you, or be forewarned that it is included. So when it comes to complex PTSD, I believe this fits better than borderline personality disorder. I am not a therapist. I'm just going by what I'm learning, and what best fits, I feel like, for me. But this fits more than borderline. And I'm reading a book called Complex PTSD From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. He has dealt with his own complex PTSD. He's been a therapist for 35 years. And like I said, he has gone through and been dealing with or managing his complex PTSD. And a lot of what is in his book, I think, is pretty intuitive. I say that as I'm reading this book, he's putting to words a lot of stuff that I have kind of figured out, trial and error, or I'm like, oh, that sounds like, or that makes me feel healthier, and I will do it. And it's some techniques that he says in the book. So I think it's kind of intuitive when someone's trying to heal. I think we're able to kind of figure out sometimes what we need to be doing, and it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is just read about complex PTSD as Pete Walker describes it in his book. CPTSD is a more severe form of post-traumatic stress disorder. It is delineated from this better-known trauma syndrome by 5 of its most common and troublesome features: emotional flashbacks, toxic shame, self-abandonment, a vicious inner circle, and social anxiety. And I'm doing this because I realize I'm kind of trapped in not trapped, but I'm dealing with an emotional flashback right now, and it helps me understand it more. It's really has. So emotional flashbacks are perhaps the most noticeable and characteristic feature of CPTSD. Survivors of traumatizing abandonment are extremely susceptible to painful emotional flashbacks, which, unlike PTSD, do not typically have a visual component. Emotional flashbacks are sudden and often prolonged regressions to the overwhelming feeling states of being an abused, abandoned child. These feeling states can include overwhelming fear, shame, alienation, rage, grief, and depression. They also include unnecessary triggering of our fight-flight instincts. It is important to state here that emotional flashbacks, like most things in life, are not all or none. Flashbacks can range in intensity from subtle to horrific. They can also vary in duration, ranging from moments to weeks on end, where they devolve into what many therapists call a regression. Emotional flashbacks are also accompanied by intense arousals of the fight-flight instinct, along with hyper arousal of the sympathetic nervous system, the half of the nervous system that controls arousal and activation. When fear is the dominant emotion in a flashback, the person feels extremely anxious, panicky, or even suicidal. When despair predominates, a sense of profound numbness, paralysis, and desperation to hide may occur. A sense of feeling small, young, fragile, powerless, and helpless is also commonly experienced in emotional flashback. And all symptoms are typically overlaid with humiliating and crushing toxic shame. I am currently not in an intense part of the flashback, but I had some intense feelings this morning. I woke up with this tightness in my chest, and the best way I can describe it is it's as if someone has their hand over my entire rib cage, and if they were to squeeze just a little bit harder, it would crush my entire chest. So I woke up with that feeling. That was lovely. I had a very intense one 4 days ago. I was watching a video on YouTube and overwhelmed by this sense of I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'm dumb. I'm so stupid that I have to watch these videos over and over and over before I can even understand a concept. And just part of it says, my dad was right. My dad told me I wasn't going to be very smart because I have a twin. So those thoughts kind of just rushed in from, I think I was like slightly confused on something the YouTuber was talking about. Slightly. And it just hit me. I don't know why. And it got to the point, and this is the trigger warning part right here. I got to the point where I started imagining taking a gun and putting it to my head and pulling the trigger. And it wasn't just the thought I thought about. I don't know, it just felt, the intention felt more real than it had before. So that did kind of scare me. And once I started getting those images, as I do, I will either think about putting a gun to my head or I will think about taking a bunch of pills. And I know I've spoke about the suicide ideation of thinking when I'm in the vehicle or riding or whatever, of just turning my vehicle into the divider or into another car or something like that. The moment those started flooding my brains, I went upstairs, grabbed my journal, and just started writing what I was experiencing, how I was feeling, where I was feeling it in my body, and just getting them out. And I was crying in between them and just writing out as much as I could. And eventually it kind of just morphed into something positive. And I was able to kind of rip myself out of this spiral that just kind of hit me. And I was feeling okay again. And this took a matter of minutes. Maybe from I honestly, I cannot even guess how long it was. But the intensity of what it felt like was definitely not minimized. I was able to shrink the experience I was having. I was able to shrink this inner critic that was just every bad thing my parents have told me or made me feel like. And lost it. Okay. So, yes. Anyways, I would recommend this book to anybody, actually. I think we have all lived through some trauma in one way or another, and learning about what your natural defense is or how you react to certain situations and how you can learn to healthily react to situations and not have any of those trauma based reactions coming out, or being able to look at them, or not coming out, but being able to deal with when these emotions come up, because everyone's imperfect. Well, no one's perfect. Everyone has their flaws or their difficulties or areas that they struggle in. And to be kind to yourself and be kind to others because of what they're struggling with, I think is huge. And being able to identify those aspects in your life where you're struggling, and it gives ways to combat that. A couple other things when it comes to this before I go. Depression means something becomes detrimental to me in my life and something has to change. So I've been depressed, like I was saying, last few days, and what started making me feel better was upping my date to go to Peru, and I think I just feel stuck here. I can't be myself as authentically as I need to be, and not at anybody's fault. This is just the way I've been conditioned. So it's very hard for me to go back and reestablish social friendship contracts with friendships that I've had for a while, or I feel like there's an established way of how our friendship is. And I am not to the point where I'm able to authentically be there for anyone. I'm still learning how to be authentically myself with me and to me and be compassionate. And I think I need to step back and really nail down some of these healing things. And not, I get to, and it's not like this is the direction I want to go in. I just feel like I'm able to really focus more on myself when I don't have these underlying tones of anxiety when it comes to relationships I have here. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's not on any level anybody else's fault. It's I'm not strong enough yet. I'm not confident enough yet. I don't have enough tools to be able to just blazingly be authentic in every one of my relationships. And I need to become more confident. And these may sound like excuses, but these are the reasons. Like, the way I need to heal, I need to be aware of anything stimulating or triggering from my old life, if that makes sense. When I'm able to be unapologetically me in every single way, that will give me an ability to be stronger in my relationship. I don't know. Just fuck it. I don't know. Just that. Anyways, moving on. I wanted to recognize something that I noticed this morning, and it was the first thought I've been able to recognize in the moment as an automatic positive thought rather than the automatic negative ones I've been conditioned to have. That thought this morning was on my morning walk. I thought, I am absolutely floored to be alive. So that was momentable, a moment to be remembered, because I'm so used to having the inner critic just tear down a lot of what I do, that I've been doing some work, and I'm starting to reparent that critic, and it's becoming a healthy, supportive friend instead. So that was awesome. So yeah, complex PTSD fits better, I think. And yes, I think that's all I've got. Thank you for hanging in. Thank you for being here. If you do have any questions that you want me to answer, or anything that I can think about and talk about, be more than happy to take questions or comments or suggestions. So enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, bye.